Good evening. It's 7 o'clock on Saturday, April 18th. I'm Dr. Fred Rouse with today's daily recap of events that affect the way you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. And are we opening? That's going to be the question for later on today, and we're going to get to that in just a couple of minutes. And one of the big things that obviously affects your life at this point in time is, the current COVID situation. Right now, the cases in the United States are well over 726,000 cases. So far, in just 3 months, we've had just under 38,000 deaths. New York State has 235,000 cases, 17,000 deaths, 13,000 of which are in New York City by itself. Now, the New Jersey governor's not happy because his state's number 2 right now. They have 81,000 cases and 4,000 deaths. And those numbers keep growing every day. Every day. Each case, each death is a personal tragedy. And those tragedies are also growing each day, one person at a time. Now, nursing homes are getting hit really hard. Anybody that's in a COVID area has a nursing home, they're getting hit hard. They've got an older population. They got very few staff people. And if you're in a nursing home, chances are you've got some pre-existing conditions to begin with, and you're at serious risk. And again, they're just having a hard time. The percentage of populations in nursing homes that are getting sick and dying of COVID are really, really off the wall if you want to take it on an individual case-by-case basis. Right now, if you get COVID, there's about a 20% chance that you're going to end up being hospitalized. Okay, it's going to be that bad that there's a 20% chance you're going to be hospitalized. Also, if you get COVID, there's about a 10% chance that it's going to be so bad that you end up in an ICU, which generally also means a ventilator. Not necessarily, but they pretty much go together. Now, the number of people that are dying on average basis of COVID is just about as high as the number of people that are dying from heart disease and heart attacks in this country. Okay? It's well over the number of people that actually die from cancer. So this is a really big deal. Yesterday I posted a graphic on this when I posted this on YouTube. I'm going to post it again today so you take a peek at that graphic. The numbers are actually off the wall. And some people still don't believe that this is a real deal. And this is all being hyped by somebody else. Very strange, but whatever. Healthcare workers, you ask them, especially in the COVID areas like New York, Illinois, okay, which is also not having a good time at all. Okay, New Jersey. Okay, the healthcare workers are still bearing the brunt of this as a profession. Of all the cases that are diagnosed, about 10 to 20% of them are healthcare workers. On top of the diagnosis of the COVID itself, the mental stress of doing all these things is really getting to these people. Hands down, they're having a hard time. They never signed up in their wildest dreams for anything like they've been put up with in the last month or so. Again, a normal number of people. If you're in healthcare, if you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a respiratory therapist, you understand that people are going to die. You can't save everybody. It's just the way it is. And you go into the field with that understanding. In normal times, not like now, but in normal times, if you had a person die every other month or something or other, that's relatively normal. It's still a little bit on the high side, but it's still relatively normal. Right now, you're getting people dying every shift. Sometimes 2 and 3 people dying every shift that you were taking care of. This has an amazing toll on you. It really does. Especially if you're there working with them and they can't have their families there as they're dying. It's a major emotional toll on you. And very few people actually understand that because they just watch it from TV. When you're there, it's a whole different situation. Now, the next group of people that really are affected by this are the clerks that stock the shelves in the store and check you out. Okay, if they work in a COVID area, they get a high number of people that are getting sick and the percentage of people that are in those positions. Again, most of that is coming because the people that are in the stores are not doing social distancing and they're not wearing masks. I just saw a post today, not even a half hour ago. Somebody was in a Target store, and this is a healthcare worker now that's making this observation. She's in a Target store, and she says at least half of the people weren't wearing masks. At least half of them. Now, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand what's about to happen to these people in a matter of a couple of weeks or two. Remember, one sick person generally ends up infecting another 5 to 6 people. So the odds are not good that you can go out without a mask and you're going to come back disease-free. It just doesn't work that way. Now, on top of store clerks, okay, next group, especially in New York City, the transit workers. They're getting devastated. They go to work every day. Healthcare workers go to every day. Transit workers in New York go to work every day. They're transporting the people to the essential jobs. Well, they've been hit. There are more people that are sick and dying in the transit department, transit workers, than combined in the police department and fire departments in New York City. They're not having a good time either. Now, a couple of days ago I mentioned a pork processing plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, owned by Smithfield Farms. And they made the news. I mentioned they made the news the next day. Okay, a couple other plants closed after that. Right now, there are hundreds of workers at food processing plants in South Dakota, in Iowa, in Colorado, in Georgia, in Pennsylvania that have been infected with COVID, forcing several of these plants to actually shut down. Now, we're going to see more of this in the coming weeks. And again, it's all from community spread. These people have labor-intensive jobs. They're on top of one another pretty much, shoulder to shoulder, okay, as they're doing things in these processing plants. You can't keep social distance. They're trying, and some of the plants are now giving them some type of protective equipment, but we'll see how that works out. But right now, it's starting to affect the food supply. All along the food chain, from the farmers all the way to the supermarkets, everywhere in between. Now, you got the puppet master president from the safety of the Oval Office, who's tweeting, liberate this state, liberate that state, and defy the governor's legitimate stay-at-home orders. The President of the United States. Now, it's a very interesting thing. You might not recognize the actual significance of that. But you've got the President of the United States in his official capacity of the leader of this nation, who is effectively inciting people to defy lawful orders from elected governors of their individual states to break the law. Never in the 240 plus years history of this nation has that ever happened. Never. And while the minions that he's inciting come out and they're strapped with sidearms, carrying shotguns and AK-47s along with their mega hats, totally oblivious to the fact that none of them, or the president himself, is going to protect them from the virus that a number of them are exposing themselves to, their neighbors and their families. And what's that mean to you? If you come in contact with any of these crazy patriots, okay, or they come in contact with somebody that you come in contact with, you are now at risk. Your family is at risk too. Do you really feel that their right to protest in such a way is greater than your right to protect your family and yourself? You alone can make that decision. I can't make the decision for you. And now for the question of the day. Are we opening? There's lots of talk about opening the country and the economy. That's really probably a good thing. Times are tight. The shutdown in various states has really been causing some problems, without a doubt. Okay, the poorly structured stimulus package that to date has helped more people that already have money than those that don't is not working out well for a lot of folks. And let's try and be honest with ourselves, if that's really possible in these times. If we can accept one really, really basic fact, a really, really simple basic fact, do you really think any governor wants to issue a stay-at-home order and shut down the economy in their states. Let's have some common sense here. What governor actually wants to do that? However, it's a bold, gutsy move of actual leadership to protect the residents of your individual state from something that's worse than a shutdown. COVID-19. Governors are actually taking leadership positions, Republicans and Democrats both, shutting down their states with stay-at-home orders, to protect their citizens. The governors know that they're just trying to save lives. They're risking everything to do that. They know it's totally unpopular. So are we opening? Any prudent, scientifically based person says that you can't open without mass testing. You can't do it. But here comes the president from the comfort and safety and seclusion of his White House office, and he brings in some people to support his position that there's plenty of tests available and more being available every day. And then he goes on to say it's up to the governors to get the testing. He's been pushing his back on the governors from day one, up until the point where he was totally in charge, and then 2 days later he figured out that he wasn't. Okay, now a quick step back into the real world where COVID cases actually exist, and you see the governors can't get the testing because the supplies that they need to administer the test, to process the test, are still not available in the real world on the front lines. In the president's mind, in an Oval Office, they may exist, but they certainly don't exist on the front lines where they're actually needed. Now, if they were available, do you think the governors would really not be testing more people in their states? Do you think that's remotely possible? The president has not put into effect the Defense Production Act that would control the manufacture and the process of the tests and the supplies that they require to put these tests together and actually administer them. I certainly don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense to me. But this has a direct effect on you, because if you want a test, you can't get a test. Frontline hospital people still can't get tests until they're severely symptomatic. That means you're already spreading the virus for up to 2 weeks. So, are we opening? Some places are opening to some degree without testing. You're going to see more of that in the coming week or so. And then you can decide in a week or two after that and see what happens and see if it was a good idea or not. Knowing that if you get COVID, there's a 20% chance that you'll end up in a hospital. And do you want to go back to work and risk exposing yourself and your family to that? Knowing that if you get COVID, there's a 10% chance that you're going to be so severely sick that you're going to end up in an ICU. Do you really want to go back to work and expose yourself and your family to that risk without testing? Not only testing of you, but of your coworkers? You can certainly make that decision. Now, before you do, you may want to look at the puppet masters and what are they advocating you to do? Are they gaining money or power, or putting you in a position to risk you and your family? Okay. Who and where are the people pulling these strings at? Will they be going back to work with you? Will they be going on that open beach in Florida right now with you? Or will they stay in the safety and seclusion of their office and allow only people that have really been tested to come in close proximity with them, as they tell you to go out and, no problem, you go out and do those things out there. I'm staying in the office where I know I'm safe. That's something for you to think about, though. You might want to spend some time with your mind. When you do, ask yourself some basic questions. Discover for yourself, that you can think on your own. It's okay. Discover that when you do, you're totally free, okay, like you've never been before, of people pulling your strings. And then you can take control of your money, your life, and your destiny. Spend some time with your mind. It's an amazing thing. Don't let somebody else pull your strings. Remember, all those people that are telling you to go liberate this state, liberate that state, The governors are off the wall. All these people are telling you all these things. They're inside. They're not going out. They're not risking themselves or their families. Anybody who comes in close contact with them is already being tested. Have you been tested? Can you get a test? Probably not, unless you're really symptomatic. At which point in time, again, you've already been spreading that virus for 2 weeks probably. There's a lot of people you've had contact with. So spend some time with your mind. Ask yourself some of those basic questions. Discover for yourself that yes, you can think on your own. It's a very, very freeing experience. Are we opening? That's a decision that you have to make in your time, in your mind. And you get to decide how far, how much it's going to open based on your situation. Just because the rest of the world's doing these crazy things doesn't mean you need to participate very much. If you go out, wear a mask. Wear a mask. Okay. Don't change your behavior, okay, to avoid infection. Just assume you're infected already. Change your behavior to avoid transmission. That's what's got us so far, this far. The stay-at-home orders, the wearing the masks that nobody likes, okay, he's gotten us to a position where slowly, ever so slowly, some of the numbers are coming down. At least the number of intubations are coming down. The number of deaths are still rising. There's going to be a lagging thing. But take care of yourself. Take care of your families. Think for yourself. Spend some time with your mind. Ask yourself some basic questions. Who's pulling the strings? Who's directing you to do what? Whose interest is it? Are they going to go to work with you? Or are they going to stay in their office, totally protected from outside forces? What a surprise. When you think for yourself, amazing things happen. It'll be a very, very freeing experience. I'm Dr. Fred Rouse, the Real Money Doctor. I'm here to help you get, protect, and enjoy your money, your life, and your retirement. I appreciate you being here with me today. I'll post this video on YouTube tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.